The UEA's Perseverance drifted through the starlit void, her weathered hull reflecting the distant light of unfamiliar stars. To any observer, she would appear insignificant, a relic of humanity's early ventures into deep space, now hopelessly outdated in an era of sleek warships and cutting-edge technology. But appearances, as Captain Sarah Chen knew all too well, could be deceiving. Standing on the bridge, Sarah watched the holographic display showing the latest casualty reports from the outer colonies. 3 more settlements lost to the Dominion in the past week alone. The aggressive alien empire had emerged from the depths of uncharted space 6 months ago, their technology far beyond anything humanity had encountered before. Now they systematically dismantled human civilization, colony by colony. "Captain," called out Dr. Marcus Wong from his science station, his voice carrying an unusual edge of excitement. "I'm detecting some sort of quantum disturbance in Sector 7. It's unlike anything I've ever seen." Sarah turned to her chief science officer, noting the way his hands trembled slightly as they moved across the holographic interface. Marcus had been with her for 5 years, since the Perseverance was reassigned from frontline exploration to what many considered a demotion, cataloging stellar phenomena in the outer reaches. Now that demotion had become their salvation, keeping them far from the Dominion's initial assault. "Show me," she ordered, moving to his station. The display shifted, revealing a swirling pattern of energy that seemed to defy the laws of physics. Analysis. "It's some sort of quantum anomaly," Marcus explained, his eyes bright with scientific curiosity. "The energy signatures are off the charts, but they're stable, artificially stable. Someone or something created this." Lieutenant Commander Jack Torres, the ship's tactical officer, stepped closer to the display. "Could it be Dominion technology?" he asked, his hand unconsciously moving to the phaser at his hip. After 20 years in the fleet, Jack had developed an almost supernatural sense for trouble. "No," Marcus shook his head emphatically. "This is far more advanced. The quantum manipulation here, it's beyond even their capabilities." Sarah studied the readings, her mind racing with possibilities. The Perseverance might be outdated, but she was still the most advanced scientific vessel in her sector. Her sensors and research facilities were second to none, even if her weapons and defenses were generations behind the current standard. "How long until we can reach the anomaly?" she asked. 3 hours at maximum safe speed," responded Lieutenant Maya Petal from the helm, her fingers already plotting the course. Sarah nodded, making her decision. "Take us in, but maintain passive sensors only. No active scans until we're closer. I don't want to attract any unwanted attention." As the Perseverance altered course, Sarah returned to her command chair, feeling the familiar weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. Her crew of 65 was among the best in the scientific fleet, brilliant minds who had chosen the pursuit of knowledge over military glory. Now, they might be humanity's last hope. "Captain," called out Communications Officer Chen Wei, his voice tense. "I'm picking up a transmission from Fleet Command. It's not good." Sarah gestured for him to put it on the main screen. Admiral Jensen's weathered face appeared, looking more haggard than she'd ever seen him. "To all ships in the outer sectors," he began, his voice heavy with exhaustion. "Earth has fallen. I repeat, Earth has fallen. The Dominion breached our last defenses an hour ago. All remaining vessels are ordered to implement Protocol Omega. Save what you can. Hide where you must. Survive. Jensen out." A deathly silence fell over the bridge. Earth, the cradle of humanity, was gone. Sarah felt the news like a physical blow, but she forced herself to remain steady. Her crew needed her now more than ever. "Orders, Captain," Jack asked quietly, voicing the question on everyone's mind. Sarah stood, facing her crew. "We continue on course to the anomaly. Whatever it is, it's more advanced than anything we've encountered, including the Dominion. And right now, we need every advantage we can get." She moved to the center of the bridge, her voice growing stronger. "I know what we just heard is devastating. Earth has fallen, But humanity hasn't. We're still here. We're still fighting. And the Perseverance might be old, might be considered weak, but she's got the best scientific minds in the fleet. If anyone can find a way to turn this around, it's us. The bridge crew straightened in their seats, determination replacing despair in their eyes. They were scientists, explorers, seekers of knowledge. And now, they would use that knowledge to fight back. As the Perseverance approached the mysterious anomaly, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the verge of something momentous. Their ship might be the weakest in the fleet by military standards, but in the hands of her crew, it might just become humanity's greatest weapon. Begin passive scans, she ordered as they drew closer to the swirling quantum phenomenon. Let's see what secrets this anomaly is hiding. What they would discover in the next few hours would change not just the course of the war, but the very nature of human civilization itself. The quantum anomaly hung before them like a tear in the fabric of space itself, its swirling energies casting an ethereal blue glow across the Perseverance's bridge. Dr. Marcus Wong hadn't taken his eyes off his instrument since they'd arrived, his fingers dancing across multiple holographic displays as he attempted to make sense of the readings. "This is impossible," he muttered, shaking his head in disbelief. "The quantum field is perfectly stable, but it's operating on principles that completely contradict our understanding of physics. It's like someone found a way to rewrite the laws of nature themselves." Captain Sarah Chen moved to his station, studying the complex data streams flowing across his screens. After 15 years working together, she'd learned enough to understand the basics of quantum mechanics, but this was beyond anything in her experience. "Captain," Maya called from the helm, "I'm detecting something within the anomaly. It looks like a structure." The main view screen shifted, focusing on the heart of the quantum phenomenon. There, barely visible through the swirling energy, was what appeared to be an artificial construction. Its architecture was alien, all sweeping curves and impossible angles that seemed to fold in on themselves. "Life signs?" Sarah asked, already knowing the answer. A structure this old would likely be long abandoned. "None," Jack confirmed from tactical. "But there's definitely power readings. Whatever this is, it's still active." Sarah straightened, making her decision. "Prep the research shuttle. Marcus, you're with me. Jack, you have the bridge. If any Dominion ships appear, get out of here immediately." "That's an order." 20 minutes later, Sarah piloted the shuttle through the quantum barrier, Marcus beside her monitoring the effects on their systems. The shuttle's hull creaked ominously as they passed through, but held together. "Fascinating," Marcus breathed, staring at his readings. "The quantum field is actually stabilizing our molecular structure, preventing the normal degradation we expect from such intense energy exposure. This isn't just advanced technology, it's perfect technology." They approached the alien structure, its surface seeming to shift and change as they drew closer. Sarah found a docking port that, impossibly, matched their shuttle's specifications exactly. "It's adapting to us," Marcus realized. "The entire structure is responsive, modifying itself to accommodate visitors." Inside, they found corridors that lit up as they approached, the alien architecture gradually shifting to more human comfortable configurations as they walked. Their suits' sensors confirmed a breathable atmosphere, but Sarah insisted they keep their helmets on as a precaution. They reached what appeared to be a central chamber, and Marcus gasped. "Captain, this is it. This is what they left for us." The chamber was filled with holographic displays, each showing different aspects of what appeared to be incredibly advanced technology. But it was the central pedestal that drew their attention. On it sat a small device, no larger than a human hand, pulsing with the same energy as the quantum anomaly outside. "It's some kind of quantum core," Marcus explained, his voice filled with awe as he scanned it. "But it's not just generating energy. It's manipulating the fundamental forces of the universe itself. Gravity, electromagnetic force, even time. This device can control them all." Sarah approached the pedestal carefully. "Left for us. What do you mean? Marcus pointed to a series of symbols running along the base of the pedestal. These aren't just decorative. They're mathematical equations, universal constants written in their purest form. This wasn't some random discovery. Whoever built this place wanted it to be found, and they wanted the finders to be advanced enough to understand what they were looking at. Before Sarah could respond, Lieutenant Chen's voice crackled over their comms. Captain, we've got incoming. 3 Dominion warships just dropped out of FTL. Sarah's blood ran cold. How did they find us? Unknown. But they're charging weapons. We need to get out of here. Sarah looked at the quantum core, then at Marcus. Can we take it? He nodded, already pulling out specialized containment equipment from his pack. The pedestal's not generating the power. It's all coming from the core itself. But Captain, we don't understand how it works yet. Using it could be dangerous. More dangerous than letting the Dominion get their hands on it. Sarah countered, helping him secure the device. They rushed back to the shuttle, the alien structure's corridors seeming to speed their passage, shifting and realigning to provide the shortest possible route to their dock. As they reboarded the Perseverance, the first Dominion shots rocked the ship. Shields at 60%. Jack reported as Sarah sprinted onto the bridge. They're using some kind of focused quantum torpedoes. 2 more hits and we're done. Plot a course through the anomaly, Sarah ordered, taking her command chair. Maya, on my mark, take us straight through. Captain, Marcus called from his station, where he was hastily connecting sensors to the quantum core's containment unit. The core is reacting to the Dominion weapons. They're quantum torpedoes. They're using a crude version of this same technology. Sarah's mind raced. The Dominion's sudden emergence, their inexplicably advanced technology, their brutal efficiency in targeting human worlds. It all made sense now. They must have found another cache of this ancient technology, but they'd only scratched the surface of its potential. Marcus, can you link the core to our shields? Give us enough protection for one good shot. His fingers flew across his console. Maybe, but it could overload our entire power grid. We'd be flying blind. Another hit rocked the ship. Shields at 30%, Jack announced. Sarah gripped her chair. Do it. Maya, stand by for my command. Jack, load everything we've got into the forward torpedo banks. We're only going to get one chance at this. The quantum core pulsed with energy as Marcus connected it to the ship's systems. Warning alerts blared as power levels spiked beyond their design tolerances. The deck plating hummed beneath their feet as reality itself seemed to bend around them. Ready on your command, Marcus reported, his voice tense. Sarah watched as the Dominion ships moved to surround them, no doubt preparing for their final strike. But they had no idea what the Perseverance now carried, what humanity now possessed. Let's show them why you should never underestimate human ingenuity, Sarah said, her voice steady. Fire. Time seemed to slow as the Perseverance's torpedoes streaked toward the lead Dominion vessel. The quantum core's energy suffused the weapons, wrapping them in a cocoon of impossible physics. On the bridge, the crew watched in stunned silence as reality itself appeared to warp around their attack. The torpedoes struck the Dominion flagship's shields and passed through them as if they weren't there. Direct hit, Jack called out, his voice filled with disbelief. Their shields, the quantum field just ignored them completely. The Dominion vessel erupted in a cascade of blue-white energy, its hull splitting apart as the quantum-enhanced weapons triggered a chain reaction through its systems. The explosion rippled outward, distorting space itself, catching one of the other Dominion ships in its aftermath. The quantum core is overloading. Marcus shouted from his station, his hands flying across the controls. The reaction is spreading faster than I can contain it. Sarah gripped her command chair as the ship shuddered violently. Maya, get us out of here. Maximum speed. The Perseverance leaped forward, her engines straining as they fled the expanding quantum storm they'd unleashed. Behind them, the 2 stricken Dominion ships were being torn apart by forces that defied the laws of physics. The third vessel, having witnessed the fate of its companions, turned and fled. Engineering reports multiple systems failing. Chen reported from communications. We've got power fluctuations throughout the ship. The quantum energy surge fried half our circuitry. Reroute everything through the backup systems, Sarah ordered. Marcus, status of the quantum core. Stable, barely, he responded, not looking up from his instruments. But Captain, you need to see this. The quantum storm we created. It's not dissipating. It's growing. The main view screen showed the swirling maelstrom of energy they'd left behind. What had started as a localized explosion was expanding, drawing in debris and energy, creating a self-sustaining quantum anomaly larger than anything they'd seen before. It's beautiful, Maya whispered, then quickly added, in a terrifying sort of way. And dangerous, Marcus added grimly. At its current rate of expansion, it could engulf this entire sector within days. We've created something we don't fully understand, and I'm not sure we can control it. Sarah felt the weight of responsibility settle even heavier on her shoulders. They'd survived their encounter with the Dominion, but at what cost? Had their desperate gambit just created an even greater threat? Captain, Jack called out suddenly. Long-range sensors are picking up multiple ships on an intercept course. A lot of ships. The tactical display lit up with dozens of contacts. Some were clearly Dominion vessels, but others were moving in patterns Sarah had never seen before. They must have detected the quantum surge, Marcus theorized. Everyone in this part of the galaxy probably felt that explosion. We just rang a very large bell. And now everyone's coming to see what made the noise, Sarah finished. She stood, facing her crew. Options. We run, Jack suggested immediately. The Perseverance may be old, but she's still one of the fastest ships in the fleet when it comes to sustained FTL travel. We can't, Marcus countered, gesturing to his readings. The quantum core is affecting our drive systems. If we try to go to FTL now, we could tear the ship apart. We need time to understand what we're dealing with, to learn how to control it properly. Time we don't have, Maya pointed out, indicating the approaching ships on their sensors. Sarah studied the tactical display, her mind racing. They couldn't run, couldn't fight. Not in their current condition. But maybe. Marcus, you said the quantum storm is still growing, still drawing in energy and matter. He nodded. Yes, and at an accelerating rate. The physics involved are fascinating, but could we use it? Sarah interrupted. Not as a weapon, but as a shield. Create a barrier between us and those ships. Marcus's eyes widened as he caught her meaning. The quantum distortions would make it impossible for them to get a clean sensor reading on us. And if we can understand how the core interfaces with our systems, we might be able to navigate through the disruption while they can't. Do it, Sarah ordered. Maya, plot a course that keeps us just ahead of the storm's expansion. Chen, see if you can boost power to our long-range communications. There have to be other human ships out there, and they need to know what we've discovered. And what exactly have we discovered? Jack asked, voicing the question on everyone's mind. Sarah looked at the quantum core, still pulsing with its otherworldly energy. Hope, she answered simply. We've discovered hope, and maybe, just maybe, a way to save Earth. As the Perseverance maneuvered through the quantum storm they'd created, Sarah couldn't help but appreciate the irony. Their ship, considered one of the weakest in the fleet, had just changed the face of warfare forever. But more importantly, they'd discovered something that could revolutionize human civilization itself, if they could survive long enough to understand it. Behind them, the quantum storm continued to grow, a beacon to friend and foe alike. Ahead lay uncertainty, danger, and the chance to turn the tide of a war humanity had been losing. The real question was, could they master this ancient technology before it mastered them? The Perseverance drifted through the quantum storm like a ship navigating treacherous waters. Waves of distorted space-time crashed against their shields, each surge threatening to tear the aging vessel apart. In the ship's makeshift research lab, Dr. Marcus Wong hadn't slept in 36 hours, his eyes red-rimmed as he studied the quantum core's interactions with their systems. "It's not just technology," he explained to Captain Chen, gesturing at the holographic models floating above his workstation. It's like the core is alive, adapting to our needs, learning from our attempts to use it." Sarah watched the mathematical equations scroll past, noting how they shifted and evolved in real time. "Learning? You mean it's sentient?" "Not exactly." Marcus shook his head. "More like, it's designed to sync with its user's understanding. The more we learn about it, the more it reveals to us. The ancient civilization that created this, they weren't just leaving us technology. They were leaving us a teacher." A violent shudder ran through the ship, interrupting their discussion. "Bridge to Captain." Jack's voice came over the comm. "You're going to want to see this." When Sarah reached the bridge, she found her crew staring at the main view screen in awe. The quantum storm that had been pursuing them had changed. What had been chaos was now taking shape, forming patterns that seemed to pulse with purpose. "It's responding to the core," Marcus breathed, checking his readings. "The more we understand the technology, the more control we gain over the disruption we created." "And we're not the only ones who've noticed," Jack added grimly, bringing up the tactical display. "That Dominion battle fleet is still following us, staying just outside the storm's edge. They're waiting for us to show them how to control it." Sarah studied the display, noting the positions of the enemy ships. The Dominion fleet had grown larger over the past day, joined by vessels of unknown design, probably scavengers and pirates drawn by rumors of the quantum event. "How close are we to understanding this technology?" she asked Marcus. "We've made incredible progress," he replied. "The core's been interfacing with our computer systems, teaching us its principles through direct demonstration. I think we're ready to try something new." Sarah raised an eyebrow. "What kind of something?" Marcus gestured to a complex diagram on his terminal. "The core doesn't just manipulate quantum fields, it can create them. Stable fields, like the one we found it in. If we can replicate that technology, we could create our own quantum barriers," Sarah finished, understanding dawning. "Not just for defense, but for FTL travel. We could bypass normal space entirely." "Better than that," Marcus grinned, his exhaustion momentarily forgotten. "We could create a quantum network, stable corridors through space-time that our ships could use. The Dominion's numerical advantage wouldn't matter if we could be anywhere, instantly." A new alarm blared, cutting through their discussion. "Multiple ships dropping out of FTL," Maya reported from helm. They're human vessels." The view screen shifted, showing 5 ships of various classes emerging from faster-than-light travel. Their hulls bore the scars of recent battles, but they were intact, survivors of the fall of Earth. "We're receiving a transmission," Chen announced. It's Admiral Jensen." The Admiral's face appeared on screen, looking older but somehow more determined than in his last transmission. "Perseverance, this is Jensen. We picked up your quantum signature from 3 sectors away. Half the galaxy is talking about the new weapon that destroyed 2 Dominion warships. Please tell me you have good news." Sarah straightened. "Better than good news, Admiral. We have a way to win this war. But we're going to need every ship and scientist we can gather. What we've discovered, it's going to change everything." "The Dominion fleet will be in firing range in 10 minutes, Jack reported. "If we're going to do something, it needs to be now." Sarah turned to Marcus. "You said the core can create stable quantum fields. Can you set up a corridor to the Admiral's location?" Marcus's fingers flew across his console. "Yes, but Captain, we've never attempted this scale of quantum manipulation. The power requirements alone will be massive," Sarah finished. "But we don't have a choice. Create that corridor. Maya, plot a course straight through. Jack, divert all power to shields and the quantum core. Let's show the Dominion what humanity can do with this technology." The core's pulsing increased, its energy spreading through the ship's systems like liquid light. On the view screen, space itself began to fold, creating a tunnel of stable quantum energy, a bridge across the stars. "Quantum corridor stabilizing," Marcus reported, his voice tense with concentration. "Field integrity at 85% and holding." "The Dominion fleet is accelerating," Jack warned. "They're moving to intercept." Sarah stood at the center of her bridge, watching as reality itself bent to their will. The quantum storm they'd created was no longer a chaotic maelstrom, but a tool under their control, a manifestation of humanity's growing mastery over the ancient technology. "Take us in," she ordered. "Full speed." The Perseverance plunged into the quantum corridor, reality warping around them as they traversed distances that should have taken weeks in mere moments. Behind them, the Dominion fleet fired desperately, their weapons dispersing harmlessly against the quantum barrier they'd created. As they emerged beside Admiral Jensen's fleet, Sarah allowed herself a small smile. Their ship might have been considered the weakest in the fleet, but they had just changed the rules of warfare forever. The real question was, how would humanity use this power? "Status of the quantum core?" she asked. "Stable," Marcus replied, wonder in his voice. "And Captain, it's showing us something new, something bigger." The holographic displays filled with new information. Designs for quantum-enhanced weapons, shields that could bend reality itself, drives that could cross galaxies in moments. The ancient civilization's gift wasn't just a single piece of technology. It was the key to an entirely new era of human advancement. "Send all of this to Admiral Jensen's ships," Sarah ordered. "Every scientist, every engineer. We need everyone working on this." The Dominion thought they could crush humanity through superior force. Instead, they just pushed us to evolve. The quantum core pulsed with approval, its energy harmonizing with the ship systems more perfectly than ever before. The weakest ship in the fleet had become humanity's greatest hope, and this was only the beginning. 3 weeks had transformed the Perseverance beyond recognition. Quantum-enhanced systems pulsed throughout her hull, her once outdated frame now housing technology that bordered on the miraculous. In the makeshift command center that had once been the ship's cargo bay, Captain Sarah Chen stood before a holographic display of Earth, surrounded by the combined scientific and military leadership of humanity's surviving forces. "The Dominion holds Earth with 300 ships," Admiral Jensen explained, highlighting defensive positions around the conquered planet. "They've converted our major cities into fortresses, and their quantum technology prevents conventional FTL approaches." "Conventional" being the key word, Sarah responded, nodding to Marcus. Her chief scientist stepped forward, dark circles under his eyes testament to endless hours of work, but his voice was strong with confidence. "We've fully decoded the quantum core's base programming," he announced, bringing up complex mathematical models. "The Dominion's quantum technology. It's a crude approximation of what we now possess. They found similar artifacts, but never truly understood them. They brute forced their way to basic applications, but we've learned to speak the language." The holographic display shifted, showing the new modifications to their growing fleet. 20 ships now carried quantum cores, each one synchronized through a network that Marcus and his team had designed. The cores didn't just communicate, they resonated together, amplifying their effects exponentially. "We're ready," Sarah stated simply. "The Perseverance will lead the first wave through the quantum corridor. While the Dominion focuses on us, the rest of the fleet will emerge from secondary corridors we've already established. They won't know what hit them." Admiral Jensen studied the battle plan, his expression grave. "The Dominion's never been defeated in open combat. Are you certain this will work?" Sarah's response was interrupted by a proximity alert. Lieutenant Maya Patel's voice came over the comm. "Captain, we're detecting massive quantum disruptions. The Dominion fleet, they're coming to us." The command center erupted into action as officers rushed to their posts. Sarah sprinted for the bridge, Marcus close behind. When they arrived, the main view screen showed a chilling sight. Hundreds of Dominion warships emerging from quantum space, their formation blocking every apparent avenue of escape. They must have detected our quantum network, Marcus said, quickly analyzing the readings. They're trying to trap us before we can strike at Earth. The Dominion's initial transmission was predictably arrogant. Primitive humans, their supreme commander's voice boomed through the bridge. Did you think we wouldn't notice your pathetic attempts to master forces beyond your comprehension? Surrender now, and we may preserve some of your species as servants. Sarah took her command chair, a slight smile playing at her lips. You know what your biggest mistake was, she responded. Assuming that just because our ships were older, our technology primitive, that we were inferior. Humanity doesn't need the most advanced ships to innovate. We take what we have and make it better. We adapt. We evolve. She nodded to Marcus, who entered a complex sequence into his console. Throughout the human fleet, quantum cores pulsed in perfect synchronization. We don't just use technology, Sarah continued. We understand it. And now we understand yours better than you do. The quantum network they'd created sprang to life, not as individual corridors, but as an intricate web of intersecting fields. Space itself seemed to fracture and reform around the Dominion fleet, trapping them in a maze of quantum distortions. Fire, Sarah ordered. The Perseverance led the charge, her quantum-enhanced weapons tearing through Dominion shields as if they were tissue paper. Other human ships emerged from seemingly impossible angles, striking from vectors that defied conventional space. The Dominion's superior numbers meant nothing when they couldn't bring their weapons to bear effectively. Their quantum fields are collapsing, Marcus reported, excitement clear in his voice. They can't maintain stability under this level of manipulation. Their own technology is turning against them. On the view screen, Dominion ships began to break formation, their once coordinated fleet dissolving into chaos. Some attempted to flee, only to find their quantum drives refused to function within the human-created field. Signal the second wave, Sarah commanded. Begin Operation Homecoming. Throughout the battle zone, new quantum corridors sprang open. The rest of the human fleet emerged, led by Admiral Jensen's flagship. But they weren't alone. Ships of all designs appeared, vessels from neutral worlds, independent colonies, even former Dominion protectorates who'd seen an opportunity to break free. The Supreme Commander's face appeared on screen again, this time with fear replacing arrogance. What are you doing? This is impossible. No, Sarah corrected him. This is humanity. We've spent our entire history turning the impossible into reality. You thought you could crush us, but all you did was give us a reason to push beyond our limits. The battle that followed would be remembered for generations as the moment everything changed. The Dominion fleet, once the most feared force in known space, was systematically dismantled by ships they had dismissed as obsolete. The Perseverance, the weakest ship in the human fleet, led the charge that shattered an empire. Hours later, Sarah stood on her bridge as the Perseverance entered Earth orbit. Below them, liberation forces were already landing, freeing cities from Dominion control. The quantum network they created didn't just win them a battle, it had revolutionized space travel, communication, and energy generation. Humanity would emerge from this war not just victorious, but transformed. What now, Captain? Marcus asked, looking up from his station where new data from the quantum core continued to pour in. Sarah watched as ships from a dozen species moved through their quantum corridors, already adapting the new technology for peaceful purposes. The Perseverance, once considered obsolete, had become the flagship of a new age of exploration and discovery. Now, she smiled, now we do what humanity does best. We take this gift, this understanding we've gained, and we use it to push further. The Dominion thought they were superior because they had advanced technology. We proved that true strength lies not in having the best tools, but in having the wisdom and creativity to use what you have. The quantum core pulsed with energy, as if agreeing with her words. On the view screen, Earth shone blue and beautiful, free once more. But now it was more than just humanity's homeworld. It was the birthplace of a civilization that had proven itself ready for the next step in cosmic evolution. "Send word to all ships," Sarah ordered. "The war is over. The age of quantum exploration begins." The Perseverance's engines hummed with power as they prepared to venture into the unknown. They had started this journey as the weakest ship in the fleet, but they had become something far greater, a symbol of humanity's indomitable spirit and endless potential for growth. The stars beckoned, and this time, humanity would meet them not as survivors struggling to exist, but as innovators ready to reshape reality itself. The weakest ship in the fleet had changed the galaxy, and this was only the beginning.